It doesn't take much work to master the way New Yorkers walk, but can you master the way that we talk? Now, I'm not talking about putting on that classic New York accent. Unfortunately, finding New Yorkers that still talk like that is like finding a taxi in Midtown at 4:30 in the afternoon. Instead, today I'm going to show you how to pronounce the names of New York City places like the locals do. Interestingly enough, the toughest place names to pronounce tend to be of Dutch origin, and since the Dutch rule of New Amsterdam was nearly 400 years ago, the current local pronunciation likely differs from the proper Dutch pronunciation. That being said, if you're visiting New York from the Netherlands, you'll probably have an easy time figuring out how to say the names of these New York City places. Everyone else, prepare to have your tongues tied. The name Schermerhorn probably wasn't a head-scratcher more than a century ago, when the Schermerhorn family was the creme de la creme of New York society. But today, without Mrs. Caroline Schermerhorn Astor to proclaim her pedigree, the masses are in confusion on how to pronounce this name, which graces a subway stop, a Brooklyn street, and a row of fancy houses in Manhattan's Seaport District. Saying Schermerhorn or Schermerhorn is the accepted pronunciation, but if you slip up and say Schermerhorn, no one will fault you for that either. This might seem like a no-brainer, but all my life I've been incorrectly saying the name of this busy Brooklyn street, and I know I'm not the only one. Named after Gerrit Nordstrand, who was one of the first Dutch settlers of New Utrecht, Brooklyn, this street is pronounced Nostrand, not Nostrand. This is one devil of a word to pronounce, but the meaning behind the name is disputed more than the pronunciation. Serving as the name of the creek separating Manhattan and the Bronx, and the name of a swanky Western Bronx neighborhood, historians can't agree whether Spuytenduyvel is Dutch for in spite of the devil, spinning devil, or spitting stream. Regardless of what it means, it's pronounced Spuytenduyvel. This nasty, toxic canal in northwestern Brooklyn and its adjacent neighborhood are either named after Native American chief Gowani, who was one of the leaders of the Canarsie, or Gooey, the Dutch word for bay. Whichever the namesake, it's pronounced Gowanus, with an emphasis on the middle syllable. Gowanus. Today is synonymous with the epitome of funky and cool. Greenwich Village is the anglicized version of the Dutch name Groenwijk. At first glance, this name seems innocuous, but beware of the silent letters. Pronounce it Greenwich, like the second E and the W aren't there. Again with the pesky silent letters. This affluent Staten Island neighborhood is pronounced Toad Hill, like the bumpy-skinned animal. And if gawking at fancy homes is your thing, Toad Hill will be your paradise. If you plan on visiting the Whitney Museum of American Art, you'll eventually have a reckoning with this meatpacking district street name. Named after Peter Gansevoort, who was a Revolutionary War general and who also had a military fort that bore his name, Gansevoort is pronounced Gansevoort. Once you master saying Schermerhorn, the pronunciation of this Brooklyn street should be a breeze. Although this name is originally derived from a Mohawk word rather than a Dutch one, just like with the Dutch name Schermerhorn, pronounce the SCH in the front of the word the same way that you'd say it in the word school. Now say it with me. Schenectady. This Brooklyn Heights street is named after Tunis Joralemon, who was a 19th century saddle maker and powerful landowner in the area. Rumor has it that he wasn't too keen on having a street named after him. I'm guessing he foresaw how easily future generations of New Yorkers and tourists could mispronounce his name. For the record, it's Joralemon, with an emphasis on the second syllable. Joralemon. If you got this name right on the first try and you're not Polish, you deserve the keys to the city. You'd be hard-pressed to find two New Yorkers who pronounce the name of this Polish-born Revolutionary War general in the same way. Not even our politicians can agree on how this is said, as displayed in a 2017 ceremony commemorating the rebuilding of the bridge. According to former Governor Cuomo, the proper Polish pronunciation is Kościuszko, but in New York, you'll be fine saying Kosciuszko. My heart goes out to all the people who live on this tongue-tying street in Brooklyn. So which New York City place do you think has the hardest name to pronounce? Share your thoughts in the comment section. And before you go, if you liked this video, then like this video and subscribe to this channel for more New York City history, culture, and things to do. Thanks for watching.